So we are on week 5 of the garden, and I'll go through it. And there's storm coming, so the roosters are not happy with me. There are beans in this row. Carrots were in this where the weeds are. I'm still waiting to see if any of them come up. They have not. I'm leaving the weeds to see if any carrots miraculously do make it. These are just your basic bush beans here. I've got on the cattle panels, these ones are a dark burgundy noodle bean. I've got the Kentucky pole bean on this one. They are not doing as well as the others. I got 2 of them that are starting to climb pretty well. The other ones are not. And then these are a Chinese noodle bean, and I grew these last year, and we enjoyed them. Got a couple pieces of gem corn. There's one over there that made it. The other ones did not. This row here is volunteer beans that kind of popped up here and there, and so I decided to leave them. I planted some zinnias throughout them, and then I also put a few pepper plants in here, just to kind of fill in the space. I've got cucumbers running up this side, and the cucumbers on this side are doing great. These are Marketmore, and I've got a few sunflowers that I planted in here. This one is supposed to have silver slicers. You can see that there is a couple of them in here. They're not doing as well. This was another volunteer bean, and then I got some volunteer sunflowers from last year. This one here has got my pickling cucumbers, and then I planted all these sunflowers in here and some zinnias. I just put in this Rose of Sharon. It's white with pink. I haven't seen it bloom yet. Pretty excited about that one. This is cabbage. I got 4 cabbages. I haven't had very good luck with cabbage over the years. Got a lot of problems with slugs, so I put them in here. I'm hoping that this will work. These are loofah. I put 2 of them pretty close together. They weren't doing too good at the beginning, but this is week 5 for me. This sunflower on the other side is also a volunteer. And then I planted some more sunflowers here, and there's some zinnias in here. I thought I planted a few more. There's a few weeds. I'm leaving the weeds till the zinnias get a little bigger. I pulled some out on this spot and killed them. Got more sunflowers growing along the edge of this, and then more pole beans. This whole row is radishes, and then the second row that's really thin is turnips. This here is 2 tomatillo plants next to each other. We've never grown these. There are tons of flowers on this, so I'm hoping to get tomatillos out of it. And then I had some loofahs that weren't doing very good at all. And I've got my beans, more beans over here. And then surprisingly, the loofahs started to grow, so we'll see which one wins. Inside of this are pepper plants. And these ones were just leftovers. I wasn't quite sure what to do, so I picked a spot and I put them in. I've got mostly determinate variety tomatoes in this row, and they'll go all the way down. This one here is not determinate. They are, oh, no, I can't remember what they're. A beefsteak. They're just a common variety beefsteak tomato. I got them just a seed packet, and that's all it was labeled was beefsteak. So they got their own row, and then there are a few little miscellaneous ones right here, and I'm not sure what those were. I just got them in a plant swap. This side here, this one is super sweet cherry tomato, and it looks like 2 of them in there. It was only 1 plant, and then it started to grow another stalk, and I decided to let it because I only had 1 of those plants. The second one next to it is a blueberry. This one is a yellow yolk, and then the next one is a blueberry. And then I have more cherry tomatoes through here. And then these ones, these short little bushy ones, are a husky cherry red tomato. And I've never grown these ones either, so pretty excited. And then over here, I've got a yellow boy, and this whole rest of this row are yellow. And I ran out of cattle panels, so we've got some woven wire fencing for them to trellis on. Most of this side are just basic red beefsteak tomatoes all the way through here. And then I put a few more of the yellow ones down here on this side. I did put some zinnias up through the edge of this. This is another spot where I had started weeding and pulled out the weeds, and the flowers didn't make it, they fell over. And then I've got more pepper plants in here, and they're pretty small. They've got time to grow. And this side is a mixture of pink brandywine and Romas. And I've got a lot of fruit on these ones. They're already in bulk. And then these ones are the Romas. And this is Romas all the way down through here. All the way down through this row. And they're looking like they're going to produce really good. I've never grown the Romas. And then the pink brandywine, they're not putting as much fruit, but the plants are getting really big. And there are some spots where the fruit is coming on. And I prune heavily, you can tell. We've had so much rain that I don't want them to catch diseases, but some of the leaves are starting to curl, I think mostly maybe from too much rain. And then I've got another row. All this row is peppers, and it's a mixture of all my hot peppers, except for right here in the end, which are just my wax peppers. And these ones are getting about ready to be picked off. That one's almost touching the ground. I've got jalapenos and some cherry bombs and some habaneros in this. And then these larger sunflowers are volunteers as well. And then in here were radishes. We picked out most of them, and now I am letting the rest of them go to seed so I can save seeds for next year. And there's a random tomato plant that started in there, so I'm going to let it grow. This rose bush, I thought I had killed it. I've got some nasturtiums growing down there, and there's also some nasturtiums here. Another tomato plant popped up. I'm not even sure how this one ended up inside of this one. But this rose bush that was climbing, I had moved it out here. Thought maybe I had killed it. There are a ton of spots where you can see all the dead leaves. I left it just kind of hoping maybe it might come back, and I've got a lot of growth on it. So hopefully this will grow next year and give me some flowers. And there's another small, it's a magic rose bush in there, so those won't get very big. This row is onions, and the weeds have taken over the onions. I plan on doing this one. I've weeded everything else. I have a large garden, so I kind of just pick a section, start weeding it. The other day I did most of the peppers. This one is my next one. And then I've got a huge amount of pro-cut sunflowers, and they go all the way down through there. They're getting rather large. I'm excited for all those to bloom. And then my potatoes. There were 3 rows here, but because of all the rain, they are falling over, and you can't tell which row is which. Some of them are starting to turn yellow and die out. You can see some yellowing and stuff. So we'll be digging potatoes soon. But there's not many weeds in this. I've been pretty diligent about weeding everything in the potato bed. We've had messes of it in the years past, but with all the rain, everything's fallen over, but still staying on top of it pretty good. Over here is another row of potatoes. This one is not as thick and more weeds get in it, but I have been weeding it, trying to keep them under control. This row is volunteer potatoes from previous years. Apparently we missed a chunk, so when I seen them coming up, we left them, we let them go. This section is where all my fruits and stuff go. I have room for more fruits. But we've got the Elliott's blueberries. This one here got frosted pretty good, so there's not many blueberries on it. An iris in there. These ones got pretty good clusters on them. This is our first year with these blueberry bushes. This one's got a huge amount on it. And then there's one more blueberry bush of the Elliott's blueberry bushes. And these ones look like they're going to be great producers when they get a little bit older. I got some random mushrooms. They pop up all over the place. This blueberry bush, these blueberries are huge. This one is our second year with this one. And I leave the tags on them because I'm not sure what they are. But they just say blueberry. They didn't have a brand on them. And then I've got a red raspberry bush that I planted this year. I bought this one well established. It already had all of its leaves on it. And then I got some little branches that I had gotten in the mail. This one's got a lot of leaves. This one's doing pretty good. This one here, these white things, these are coffee grounds inside of them with the coffee bags. But this one here is not producing anything. No sticks or anything on it. Or leaves on the stick. Nor this one. I got these two. This one here's got a little bit of spots, and this one has none. And then this one here has got some pretty good growth on it. So I've got a ton of the black raspberries around here, so I'm pretty excited to have the red ones. This is my strawberry patch. You can see some strawberries down in there. We've been picking off these for a couple of weeks now. And I bought a few more that I'll be adding to it this year. Some really nice red ones in there. And then the rhubarb, I did not pick any of that this year. I'm just letting it grow, go to seed, let it get established. I just planted the rhubarb in this year. Right on the edge of the garden, it's kind of hard to see, but I did plant some asparagus. And it goes all the way down by where that sunflower stake is. And it comes all the way down here. Got a little piece of the black tarp. It goes up by the garlic and then it stops. And in this black tarp I planted lavender, but none of them are looking like they're going to come to life. They were something I had bought in the mail. And then the garlic is starting to die back. So we'll be harvesting that. I got elephant garlic on this side over here. And then I got just regular garlic over here. A lot of them didn't come up. I had more. These are what survived the winter. I planted them in the fall. But that is the overview. We're on, I think, week 5 or week 6 for the garden, so. And then this is our little hangout spot. Got a swing, our fire pit, little picnic table. It's a great euchre picnic table for anybody who around Michigan likes to play euchre. That's a great euchre table, especially when you like to sit outside in the summertime. And then I have more fruits over here. So my garden is close to the woods, as you can see. All the way, these big trees here are apple in front, cherry in the back. The very tall ones are cherry trees. And then it's open on this side, minus my shed. My chickens are back over in that corner, behind this shed, but in the woods. Keep them shaded from the sun and helps kind of keep them protected just from the elements. But as you can see, like the garden is pretty close to the woods, and it still does pretty good. Like, I don't get a lot of sun after so many hours. It gets all the morning sun, all the afternoon sun, and then once the sun starts to go down and hide behind the trees, this side of the garden gets the most shade. And actually the tomatoes are doing the best on the most shade, but the peppers are a little bit smaller, where they get the more sun throughout the day. They are definitely bigger. So this shed here actually is just a storage shed. Right now there is an opening in the back, and there's a door that leads outside, and there's like a little caged in area. So I don't actually go into the caged in area, but if you go through the door you can get out. And my daughter's got her show turkeys in there, so I get a little bit outside area, but they're not outside right now because we've got predator problems. So they're inside. There are windows on the sides, but it's still relatively dark. And then this tree covering it is a mulberry tree, and on the other side, towering over it, is a mulberry tree. And then over here, almost the whole thing is the black raspberries that you can pick off the side of the road. And nettles, a lot of nettles, but as you can tell, I got a lot of berries that I can go out and pick right now. And I've picked probably about a gallon of berries. Between the strawberries, the blackberries, and the elderberries, I will end up making a mixed berry jam. There are just a ton of these berries coming in. And this side of the garden, or this side of the woods, gets more sun than the other because it's blocked off. Like, they're open, but these trees block the morning sun. But all the way through, all the way down, there are berries. They're just not turning yet. And then all the way along through here and way down almost to the road is all more berries. They grow all the way through here. When we bought the property, it was like that. And we do our compost pile back here, in case anybody was curious. We put it back here. There's another pile you'll go back behind, and that one's older, and then this is the newer one. And then we'll collect from the older one for the garden this fall, and then this one will continue every year. And then next summer, or next fall, not this fall, but next fall, that pile will get used, and we'll start adding to the next pile. We just kind of rotate where we get it from. But there's more berries on this side. But like I said, these ones don't get as much sun, so they take a lot longer to turn. And then they'll go the whole length up there towards the road. But thank you for watching, and have a good night.